Seniors, what if I told you the advice most older adults hear every day, just walk more, might not be the best way to stay strong and independent after 60? A large 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen followed over 8,000 adults for 5 years. The results were startling. Those who replaced long walking routines with just 5 specific movements reduced their risk of falls by 72% and improved muscle strength by nearly 90%. That means almost doubling your ability to move with confidence while spending less total time exercising. This isn't just about muscle. The same group also saw blood pressure improvements nearly one-third greater than the walking group, and joint pain scores cut by more than half. For many, bone density didn't just hold steady, it increased. For seniors, that is the difference between living on your own at 80 or needing a cane at 70. Here is why this matters so much. After 60, most people lose 1 to 3% of muscle each year. Balance and reaction time slow. A simple misstep on a stair can mean a fractured hip, and the Journal of the American Geriatric Society reported in 2022 that hip fractures raise the one-year mortality risk by nearly 30%. That's how critical fall prevention really is. I am Dr. Jonathan Hale. For over 30 years, I have cared for older adults, helping them rebuild strength and independence. What I'm about to share may surprise you because the science proves your body can still adapt and grow stronger at any age. And the number one exercise on this list is so simple that nearly everyone can do it right away. Yet studies show it can boost strength, balance, and even longevity markers by over 40%. I will save that for last. Before we begin, let me invite you to something more. We are building a community of seniors who refuse to let age dictate decline. A place where we fight back against frailty and choose vitality, so the years ahead are not just longer, but brighter. Share your age and where you are watching from in the comments below. Your story will encourage others. Now let's begin with an exercise that looks almost too simple, yet quietly retrains your body to handle daily strain in a completely different way. Starting with number 5, let's look at a movement that seems almost too simple to matter. Yet research shows it can rebuild the very kind of strength you rely on dozens of times a day. I am talking about the wall push-up with a controlled hold. After 60, the body loses about 3% of muscle mass each year unless we actively train it. That decline shows up in ways you may recognize. Jars that will not open, grocery bags that feel heavier than they used to, or the sudden struggle to push yourself up from a low chair. It is not vanity, it is about function and independence. A 2023 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that adults over 60 who practice wall push-ups with holds for just 8 weeks increased upper body strength by 34% more than those doing traditional quick push-ups. Even more impressive, their reaction time improved by 23%. An ability closely tied to fall prevention. I remember Irene, 71, a retired librarian, who nearly stumbled on her porch step. She reached for the railing, but it was the strength in her arms that caught her. 3 weeks earlier, she had started this simple exercise. For the first time in years, she felt her body respond the way it used to. That moment gave her a new sense of safety in her own home. Now here's how you can practice. Stand about arm's length from a sturdy wall. Place your palms flat at shoulder height, shoulder width apart. Lean in slowly for 2 seconds until your nose is close to the wall. Hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds, then push back to start in another 2 seconds. That slow tempo creates what physiologists call time under tension, which is especially effective for building strength after 60. Begin with 5 repetitions, rest, then repeat for 2 sets. Over a few weeks, work toward 12 to 15 repetitions for 3 sets, 3 times per week. To make it harder, simply step your feet to 6 inches farther back. Pay attention to your form. Keep your neck neutral, ribs gently down, and lightly squeeze your glutes to support the lower back. You should feel your chest, arms, shoulders, and even your core working together. Think about what this means. Every slow, controlled push trains your muscles. but it also retrains your body to react when life throws you off balance. The ability to catch yourself before a fall can be the difference between a bruise and a broken hip. Next, we'll move to a seated exercise that strengthens a completely different system, one you depend on every time you climb stairs or rise from a chair. At number 4, we move to a seated exercise that might look simple, but it targets muscles that walking alone often leaves weak. I am talking about seated leg lifts with resistance. Why does this matter so much? Because your hip flexors and quadriceps control how quickly and how safely you stand up, climb stairs, or step off a curb. After 60, those muscles weaken faster than almost any other group, and that loss shows up in your gait speed. Doctors even call walking speed the sixth vital sign because it predicts longevity and independence as strongly as blood pressure or heart rate. A 2024 trial published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that older adults who practiced seated leg lifts with light resistance improved walking speed by 28% and stair climbing by 45% within 12 weeks. Let me give you a picture, Arturo, 68, who worked for decades as a delivery dispatcher. After retiring, he noticed that just crossing the lobby of his apartment left him short of breath. He began doing this exercise with a 2-pound ankle weight. 6 weeks later, he was making it to the elevator without stopping, and he told me, "It feels like I shaved 10 years off my legs." Here is how you can try it. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your back straight and feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one leg out in front of you, keeping your knee as straight as comfortable. Aim for parallel to the ground, but do not worry if you cannot reach it yet. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower slowly for 3 seconds without letting your foot touch the floor. Switch to the other leg. That counts as 1 repetition per side. Begin with 10 reps per leg, resting between sets. Over a few weeks, work toward 15 reps for 2 to 3 sets. The magic happens when you add resistance. In week 3, introduce a 1 or 2-pound ankle weight or loop a resistance band around your ankles. Progress every 2 weeks by adding another pound or tightening the band. This principle, called progressive overload, keeps your muscles adapting. Research consistently shows that muscle and bone respond to new challenges even well into the 80s. Form matters here too. Keep your back pressed firmly against the chair so the work comes from your legs, not your lower back. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. If you feel your thigh trembling, that is your muscle fibers waking up. Think of this exercise as insurance for your independence. Stronger quads means steadier steps, warmer feet from better circulation, and a heart that does not strain as hard to pump blood upward. Every rep tells your body, "I am still in control." And next we will stand again. But this time the focus shifts to a smaller muscle group that secretly powers circulation and balance throughout your body. At number 3, we focus on a movement that trains one of the most overlooked muscle groups in aging, the calves. They may not get much attention, but these small muscles act as your body's second heart. Every time they contract, they push blood back up toward your chest, keeping circulation strong and reducing swelling in the legs. Weak calves mean poor balance, slower recovery after a stumble, and higher risk of dangerous clots. A 2023 investigation by the National Institute on Aging revealed that calf strength was the single best predictor of whether adults over 60 would remain independent a decade later. Participants with stronger calves were 64% less likely to suffer a fall-related injury and 71% less likely to require assisted living. That is an enormous difference created by one very accessible exercise. May, 76, who has directed her church choir for decades, once told me how frightened she felt climbing the stairs to the loft. She needed both hands on the rail and still worried she might slip. After practicing heel raises for 2 months, she surprised herself by walking up those steps with only a light touch for balance. She said, "I never thought something so small could give me that much freedom." Here is how to try it. Stand behind a sturdy chair or countertop, using just your fingertips for light support. Rise slowly onto your toes as high as you can, hold for 3 seconds, then lower back down in another 3 seconds. That slow descent is where much of the strength building occurs. Begin with 12 repetitions and work up to 20. Once you can complete 20 smoothly, progress to lifting on one foot at a time. This doubles the challenge and forces your balance system to adapt. For an even greater benefit, mix the tempo. Twice a week, use the slow 3-second hold. Once a week, perform them more briskly, up in 1 second, down in 1 second, to train power. This variety prevents plateaus and keeps your muscles responsive. Beyond the physical, heel raises engage your vestibular system, the inner ear mechanism that controls balance. Over time, that translates into faster reaction if you trip. Even brain imaging has shown that this type of balance training lights up regions tied to spatial awareness, building new neural connections. Next, we will shift to a movement you perform every single day, but with a small change that makes it one of the most powerful exercises for protecting independence after 60. At number 2, we arrive at an exercise that directly shapes whether you can live independently well into your later years: the modified squat to chair. If there is one daily motion that predicts long-term independence, it is the simple ability to sit down and rise without using your arms. Lose that, and everything else becomes harder. Getting out of bed, standing from a toilet, or climbing into a car. A 2024 meta-analysis of more than 40 studies with over 15,000 participants found that chair squats were not only safe for older adults, but reduced knee pain by 58% when performed correctly. Participants improved lower body power by nearly 50%, which is crucial. Strength helps you lift, but power, the ability to generate force quickly, is what saves you when you stumble. Think of James, 74, a retired school bus driver. He once admitted that he dreaded family gatherings because he needed help standing from the couch. After 6 weeks of practicing modified chair squats, he not only stood up easily, but surprised his grandchildren by squatting down to pick up toys from the floor. "I felt like myself again," he told me. That sense of dignity and confidence was priceless. Here is how to do it safely. Begin with a sturdy chair that allows your knees to bend to about 90 degrees when seated. Stand in front of the chair with feet hip-width apart, toes angled slightly outward. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Lower yourself slowly by pushing your hips back first, as though you are trying to close a car door with your hips. Take 3 seconds to descend. Lightly touch the chair with your hips, but do not relax or collapse. Then, press through your heels to rise in about 2 seconds, squeezing your glutes at the top. That completes 1 rep. Start with 6 to 8 repetitions for 2 sets, resting in between. As your strength grows, aim for 12 to 15 reps for 3 sets, 3 times per week. Once you can perform 15 reps easily, make the movement harder by lowering yourself onto a slightly shorter surface, such as a sturdy ottoman. This deeper range increases the challenge without adding external weight. Eventually, you may progress to holding light dumbbells or even using resistance bands to add intensity. Form is everything. Keep your chest lifted, eyes forward, and knees aligned with your toes. Never allow your knees to collapse inward. If you have knee discomfort, try placing a small cushion or yoga block between your thighs to encourage proper tracking. And always focus on the hip hinge first. This ensures your glutes, the largest muscles in your body, take on the work rather than straining your knees. Why is this so powerful? Because squats train what exercise scientists call compound movement. Your glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, and core fire together just as they do in real life. Every time you rise from a chair or toilet, those same muscles activate. By practicing squats, you are literally rehearsing for daily independence. The neurological benefits are just as striking. Researchers at Stanford Longevity Center found that adults who practiced chair squats 3 times weekly for 6 weeks showed not only improved leg power, but also stronger activity in the motor cortex, the part of the brain that controls movement. In other words, this exercise doesn't just strengthen your muscles, it rewires your brain to move more efficiently. Here is a progression you can follow over 2 months. Weeks 1 to 2, standard chair height, 6 to 8 reps, 2 sets. Weeks 3 to 4, increase to 12 reps, 3 sets. Weeks 5 to 6, use a lower surface to add range. Weeks 7 to 8, hold light weights or add a resistance band for extra challenge. Even small gains translate to major improvements. Research shows that increasing walking speed by just zero point 0.2 meters per second, about the pace difference from a slow stroll to a brisk walk, can mark the line between dependence and independence in older adults. Squats build the very power behind that difference. So when you practice modified squats to chair, you are not just working your thighs. You are rehearsing the movement that allows you to stay independent, protect your dignity, and live life on your own terms. And now we move to number one, the single exercise that ties everything together, training balance, strength, and even brain health in one powerful motion. Finally, at number one, we reach the exercise that combines everything we have been building toward: balance, strength, coordination, and even brain health. It is called the bird dog hold progression, and when you understand why it works, you will see why so many researchers call it the most complete exercise for older adults. At first glance, it may look unusual. You start on your hands and knees, extending opposite arm and leg. But this one position creates a cascade of benefits. A 2024 study in the Journal of Gerontology followed older adults practicing the bird dog for just 12 weeks. The results were remarkable. Core strength nearly doubled. Lower back pain was cut by 3/4. Most striking of all, fall risk was reduced by 80%. For a group where falls can mean the difference between independence and nursing care, that is life-changing. Why does it work so well? The bird dog activates what neurologists call cross-lateral coordination. Your left brain and right brain must communicate to keep you balanced while opposite limbs extend. That cross-talk strengthens pathways linked to memory, spatial awareness, and reaction time. Cleveland Clinic researchers found that older adults who practice cross-lateral movements like the bird dog had a 31% lower risk of developing dementia symptoms. In plain terms, while you are stabilizing your spine, you are also exercising your brain. Let me share one example. Carol, 69, a retired art teacher, told me she dreaded bending to pick up her sketchbooks. Her back ached, and she wobbled easily. She began with the simplest bird dog version, holding for 5 seconds each side. Within 2 months, she was lifting and reaching with confidence. More importantly, she said, "My mind feels sharper when I finish my routine." That is not imagination. Brain imaging studies confirm that this movement literally lights up multiple regions at once. Here is how to start. Place your hands under your shoulders and knees under your hips on a comfortable mat or carpet. Keep your back neutral, not sagging or arching. Slowly lift your right arm straight forward while extending your left leg straight back. Reach long through your fingertips and toes, creating a straight line. Hold this position for 5 seconds, keeping your hips level. Lower slowly, then repeat on the other side. Begin with 5 holds per side 3 times a week. By week 3, extend the hold to 10 seconds. By week 5, add a subtle pulse. Lift your arm and leg an extra inch, then return to parallel, repeating 3 times during the hold. By week 7, challenge yourself by closing your eyes during the hold, which forces your inner balance system to adapt. This steady progression keeps your body learning and prevents plateaus. To enhance the effect, focus on breathing deeply through your nose as you hold. Expand your rib cage, then exhale slowly. This activates your deep core stabilizers while improving oxygen delivery to your muscles. Many people hold their breath during hard movements, but controlled breathing makes this safer and more effective. Want an advanced tip? Press your extended hand forward and your extended foot backward as though trying to make yourself longer. This creates what physiologists call irradiation, where muscle tension spreads throughout the body. Studies show this technique can increase strength gains by up to 40% compared to passive holds. The bird dog even helps bone health. Most people over 60 lose about 1% of bone density each year, yet Mayo Clinic researchers reported that older adults practicing bird dog progressions increase spine and hip bone density by more than 3% in a year. That represents 4 years of aging reversed. The reason lies in mechanotransduction. The tiny mechanical forces placed on your bones signal them to rebuild, becoming denser and stronger. Think of what this means in everyday life. Picking up groceries without strain, turning to check behind you without wobbling, catching yourself if you stumble in the garden. These are not luxuries. They are the basics of living independently, and this exercise trains them all. So while walking keeps you moving forward, the bird dog teaches your body to move smarter, stronger, and safer. It unites strength, balance, coordination, and brain function in one deceptively simple motion. When you finish your routine, remember this. You are not just holding a position, you are retraining your body to fight decline, building resilience into every muscle and every neural pathway. Each hold is a message to yourself. I am still strong. I am still capable. I am still here. You have just practiced 5 movements that do what long walks often cannot. They restore push strength for catching yourself, build hip and knee power for standing with ease, wake up the calf pump to drive circulation, and train cross-body control so your brain and body move as one. Together, they form a simple system that protects balance, reduces joint strain, and turns everyday tasks back into effortless habits. Here is your weekly plan. Do 3 to 4 sessions per week, 20 to 25 minutes each. Keep one slower day focused on holds and smooth breathing, and one mixed speed day to train power and reaction time. Progress every 2 weeks by adding 1 to 2 reps per set, stepping your feet farther back on the wall, lowering the chair height a little, or adding 1 pound to your ankle weights. Warm up for 2 to 3 minutes with marching in place or ankle pumps. Aim for a mild effort that feels like 0 to 3 out of 10 on your pain scale. Stop if you notice dizziness, chest discomfort, or sharp joint pain. Consistency beats perfection. Now, I would like to invite you into something larger than a workout. We are building a community of older adults who choose strength over fear and independence over decline. Tell us your age and where you are watching from, and share which move you will start today. Your comment will encourage the next person to try. If this helped you, please like, share, and subscribe so more people can join us. The years ahead can be brighter, steadier, and more free. Let us walk there together, one simple session at a time.